Burok wiped the grease from his hands and squinted at the dying sun of Kepler-4 for Tabeva. Acidic clouds were rolling in early today, painting the sky in shades of sulfuric yellow. He had maybe 15 minutes before the first drops would start eating through anything organic left exposed. Another perfect day in paradise, he muttered, sealing the engine compartment of the mining rig. The colony had been operational for 8 months now, and the acid rain remained the planet's most aggressive welcoming committee. A sound pierced, the growing wind high-pitched, desperate, utterly alien yet somehow universally understood. Something was crying. Burok's head snapped up. The Zetherian settlement lay 300 meters east, their crystalline structures glinting like jagged teeth against the darkening horizon. The colony had maintained careful diplomatic distance from the insectoid aliens, trading resources but little else, yet that sound had pulled at something primal in his chest. The first droplets began to fall. Burok felt the familiar sting as one hit his arm, immediately fishing out a neutralizing cloth from his pocket. He should get inside. Protocol demanded it. The crying intensified. "Damn it," Burok hissed, grabbing his emergency rain poncho and sprinting toward the sound. He found the hatchling in a depression between two rocks, its translucent white carapace already showing burn marks from the rain. It was no bigger than a cat, with 6 trembling limbs and compound eyes that reflected Burok's approaching figure in 1,000 fractured images. The creature's mandibles clicked rapidly, fear or pain, he couldn't tell. Around the depression, Burok saw the evidence, larger Zetherian footprints leading away in multiple directions. They'd left it, whether by accident or intention. The result was the same. The hatchling would dissolve within minutes. Burok didn't hesitate. He swept his poncho around the small creature, ignoring its initial thrashing, and pulled it against his chest. The rain was intensifying now, each drop sizzling where it hit the treated fabric. He ran. The human habitat's airlock seemed impossibly far. Burok's lungs burned, his boots splashing through puddles that steamed and bubbled. The hatchling had gone still against him, and for a terrible moment he thought he was too late. Then he felt it, a small vibration, a soft clicking against his ribs. Still alive. The airlock's decontamination cycle felt eternal. Yellow warning lights bathed them both as chemical showers neutralized the acid. Burok watched the runoff swirl down the drains, carrying away the planet's caustic blessing. Inside, he carefully unwrapped the hatchling. Its white carapace was marred with angry red burns, and green ichor seeped from cracks in its shell. Burok had veterinary training from his years on Earth's factory farms, different species, but biology had patterns. "Stay with me, little one," he whispered, moving to his workstation. His mechanical tools lay scattered across the bench, but beneath them he kept a medical kit. Alien physiology was a gamble, but burns were burns. He worked through the night. The hatchling he'd started calling her Melissa in his mind, after his sister, who'd also been born with albinism, drifted in and out of consciousness. He applied synthetic skin grafts designed for the Zetherian trade partners, hoping the chemistry would translate. He administered a mild sedative derived from the colony's hydroponics bay. He monitored her 6-chambered heart through a scanner meant for engine diagnostics. As the planet's twin moons rose beyond the habitat's viewport, Melissa's clicking changed. It became rhythmic, almost musical. Her antennae, which had been pressed flat against her head, slowly extended. "There you are," Burok smiled, exhaustion making his vision blur. "Thought I'd lost you." The commotion started at dawn. 3 adult Zitherans stood at the habitat's outer door, their larger frames casting insectoid shadows through the reinforced glass. Behind them, a dozen more gathered. Burok's hand hovered over the emergency beacon. Then the lead Zetherian performed a gesture he'd never seen, a complex crossing of its 4 forward limbs, repeated 3 times. Through the translator that hung in the airlock, a voice emerged, brittle and harmonized like wind chimes. "The cast-off has been reclaimed by the human. This creates obligation debt." Burok looked down at Melissa, who had managed to climb onto his shoulder, her white carapace gleaming under the habitat's lights. She wasn't cast off. She was abandoned. The Zetherian leader's antennae quivered. "Albino genetics reduce colony contribution probability. Resources are precious. You do not understand our ways." "No," Burok said flatly. "I understand perfectly. I also understand that my ways say every life is precious, even the ones that look different." The silence stretched. Then the leader performed another gesture, this one simpler, a single limb extended, palm equivalent up. "The mechanic human has demonstrated value recognition beyond colonial efficiency. The albino remains with you. We withdraw obligation debt through alternate means, new trade routes, shared technology." The human sees worth where we calculated only cost. Over the following weeks, everything changed. Melissa grew stronger, her white carapace hardening, her clicks becoming complex communications that Burok learned to interpret. The Zetherians, fascinated by the human who defied logic to save what they deemed worthless, opened their archives. Technology flowed. Understanding grew. And in the evenings, when acid rain drummed against the habitat's roof, Burok would sit, with Melissa perched on his workbench, her compound eyes watching him repair engines and broken things. He'd tell her stories about Earth, about his sister, about why humans ran toward crying instead of away from it. Some called it foolish, others called it humanity's greatest weakness, the inability to calculate worth in purely logical terms, the compulsion to save even what seemed Burok called it what made them human. And on Kepler 4 to be under alien stars and acid skies, that made all the difference.